Hi, welcome back guys. This is your sensei, back with another fanfiction. This is the first part of What If Naruto Built Harem in Fairy Tale. Now before starting, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel if you want more videos like this. Now let's get into the fanfic. Long ago, before magic even made its first spark, there were shinobi, otherwise known as ninjas. Shinobi were powerful, cunning, and often ruthless. They struck down their enemies before they even knew what had hit them. They ruled all of the elemental nations, divided and living in their own regions. They thrived, living in peace and harmony. But war broke out, and an all-powerful goddess named Kaguya Otsutsuki, the mother of all chakra, was revived. The war devastated the land and its people. Many shinobi fighting in the war lost their lives, causing great sorrow, grief, hatred, pain, and death. A brave, powerful ninja named Naruto Uzumaki managed to seal away the goddess forever, thus ending the war, but at the cost of his own life. Naruto and Hinata watched in horror as Neji fell to the ground after being struck by the 10 Tails' deadly wood projectiles. Naruto rushed over to Neji and held him tightly, searching the battlefield for the medical team. Neji rested his chin on Naruto's shoulder, already teetering on the edge of life. "Medics, where are you? We have a critical injury here. Hurry!" Naruto shouted frantically, despair evident in his voice. "No, I'm going to die," Neji said, accepting his fate. "Neji," Naruto murmured. "Ni-san," Hinata said sadly. "Naruto, Lady Hinata, is willing to sacrifice everything for you. You hold more than one life in your hands. And it seems my life too may have been one of them," Neji said, looking at the crying Hinata with a warm smile. "But why did you do this? Why would you go so far for me? You were going to change the Hyuga?" Naruto asked tearfully. "Because you called me a genius," Neji replied. Tears streamed down Naruto's face. "Before I die, Naruto, take my Byakugan," Neji uttered. Naruto perked up in shock, unable to believe what he had just heard. "What? But you better hurry. Once I die, this Byakugan will be sealed away forever, and the enemy won't just stand around waiting for you, so hurry. Have Lady Hinata transplant it for you," Neji urged. Hinata sobbed, rubbing her eyes. "Are you sure? I'm not even a Hyuga," Naruto asked hesitantly. Hinata looked at Naruto, her face wet with tears. She reached out and cupped his face, gazing at him with determination. "Naruto-kun, I want to fulfill Neji's wish. I believe you can learn the skills and techniques and master them in time. So please, let's hurry, we are running out of time." Naruto finally nodded, holding Hinata's hands as if to comfort her. "I understand. I will do as you and Neji wish, and I will take Neji's Byakugan as a token of gratitude." Hinata nodded. "Thank you, Naruto-kun. Now, could you please stay still? This will hurt, but I promise it will be quick, and your pain will subside as soon as the eye is implanted." "Okay." Hinata released Naruto and walked over to Neji. Taking a deep breath, she carefully took the Byakugan from Neji's eyes and returned to Naruto, positioning herself in front of him. "Are you ready?" Hinata asked. Naruto nodded in response. Hinata proceeded with the transplant. Although she was not a medical ninja and knew she would not be able to heal the area around Naruto's eyes, she believed that Naruto would heal quickly because of the nine-tailed fox inside him. Hinata did her best to be gentle as she continued with the procedure. Naruto managed to stay still, enduring the pain for Hinata's sake, determined to remain calm and collected. Soon enough, Hinata finished. She took one last look, ensuring everything was perfect. "I'm finished. Naruto Uzumaki, you now possess one of the 3 great Kekkei Genkai, the Byakugan." Hinata cupped Naruto's face with both hands, looking into his newly transplanted eyes with pride. "I believe that you will be able to master the Byakugan. Win, Naruto." "Thank you, I will," Naruto promised. It happened again, just like on their first mission, and just like what happened with Obito. Sasuke stood in front of a shocked Naruto, with one of Kaguya's deadly chakra rods piercing through his gut. Kaguya's face showed amusement as Naruto cradled Sasuke, who lay on the verge of death in his best friend's arms. Naruto held a pained expression while Sasuke chuckled weakly, blood trickling from the corner of his mouth as Naruto deactivated his Sage of Six Paths mode. "No, not again," Naruto uttered sadly. "But why did you block the attack?" "Why, Sasuke?" Sasuke scoffed quietly. "Well, my body just moved on its own. Just like that time." Tears flowed from Naruto's eyes. "Naruto, don't let this stop you from defeating her. You must seal her away and you must live on." Sasuke asserted. "I will. I swear on my ninja way." "But now listen, Naruto, there is something I want to give you, something that'll help you win this fight," Sasuke said. Naruto looked at him with anticipation. "I'm giving you my Rinne Sharingan as well as the Yin Seal. My Rinnegan allows you to utilize the abilities of the Sharingan," Sasuke revealed. Naruto's eyes widened. "Naruto, give me your left hand," Sasuke instructed. Naruto nodded and extended his left hand. Sasuke placed his own left hand on top of Naruto's, holding it for a moment before lifting it up. Naruto looked down at his palm to see the moon seal that had once been on Sasuke's hand now on his own. He watched as Sasuke reached for his dojutsu, carefully extracting the Rinne Sharingan from his eye socket. "Are you sure about this, Sasuke?" Naruto asked for reassurance as Sasuke prepared to implant the Rinne Sharingan into his left eye. "Yes, you are my best friend. I entrust you with this power. It cannot fall into the wrong hands, so use it wisely. You have the full power of the Sage of Six Paths, all tailed beasts inside you, and now you possess the power of all the three great dojutsu. Kagaya is no match for you now," Sasuke said. "And take this." Sasuke's arm reached behind him and grasped the Kusanagi. He carefully swung the sword around his body and handed it to Naruto. Naruto hesitated, his hand trembling as it reached for the sword. "Just take it, you dobe," Sasuke said firmly. Naruto nodded, finally taking the Kusanagi from Sasuke's grip. "Thank you, Sasuke." Sasuke then slowly began to fade away as Naruto continued to weep, his fingers clutching onto the remnants of his best friend. All the while, Kagaya watched in amusement, cackling menacingly, her face contorting with malice. Naruto looked up at the evil goddess with determination in his eyes. One eye held the Byakugan, and the other possessed the Rinne Sharingan. He would stop at nothing to seal her away for. How amusing! How sweet and saddening, a dear friend dying in the hands of another dear friend. So touching! Kagaya mused. This only fueled Naruto's anger further. "I swear I will seal you away forever. I'll make sure you never cause any more pain and sorrow," Naruto vowed. "Bring it on, boy," Kagaya taunted. Naruto gritted his teeth and launched himself at the goddess with remarkable speed, activating Sage of Six Paths mode. This caught Kagaya off guard as she hastily attempted to escape through her space-time ninjutsu. However, Naruto reached her just before she could slip through the portal and struck Kagaya with a powerful headbutt. Normally, such a collision would be devastating, but it only left Kagaya feeling extremely nauseous. She spat out a small amount of blood. Naruto smirked, using even more force to launch the goddess into the sky. "Enjoy your ride." Kagaya glared down at the blonde shinobi with hatred and disgust. Naruto charged further towards the rabbit princess, extending both of his palms, preparing to seal the mother of all chakra away forever. Kagaya noticed and panicked, readying herself for another teleportation jutsu. "You're too late," Naruto shouted, finally making contact with Kagaya. As soon as he touched her, the sealing jutsu began to work, aiming to seal the goddess away for eternity. Kagaya narrowed her eyes. "No, I won't go down like this. I will take you down with me," Kagaya declared, and she meant it. As another black chakra rod slid down from her long sleeves, she grasped it, preparing to strike Naruto just as she had done with Obito and Sasuke. "It's time!" Naruto shouted, unaware of Kagaya's intentions. Kagaya smirked, taking the rod and plunging it into Naruto's gut just as he completed the sealing jutsu, moments before she was sealed away forever. Sage of Six Paths mode deactivated as Naruto cried out in pain, collapsing to the ground. He clutched his stomach, feeling the warmth of blood trickling from his mouth. Panting heavily, he spread out his arms and legs, accepting his unfortunate fate. So, this is how Naruto Uzumaki dies, he mumbled quietly to himself, staring up at the blue sky. Naruto scoffed, "How pathetic." With that, his eyes began to close, his breathing slowing. "Forgive me, Sakura-chan. Kakashi-sensei, but this is goodbye." Naruto lay on the ground, arms and legs spread and relaxed. He smiled as if welcoming death. "So it seems. I'll be joining you on the other side, Sasuke," he thought. Deactivating both of his dojutsu, he looked into the sky, his eyes filled with sadness. "It's about time I join you two as well, Mom. Dad." Finally, Naruto began to fade away, just as Sasuke and Obito had when struck by the black rods. He closed his eyes, his breathing ceased, and eventually his entire body was gone. Naruto thought that after leaving the mortal world, he would join his beloved ones, believing everything was over. But he was far from the truth, as Lord Kami had a different plan for the young shinobi. Naruto woke up, coughing as he sat up in a panic. He grimaced from the lingering pain in his gut, the spot where Kagaya's black rods had pierced him. Looking around, he observed his surroundings, finding himself in the middle of a forest. He was in poor condition, both physically and mentally. Naruto returned in the same state he had left, shabby, torn clothes, his body covered in grime, blood, and wounds. "What the hell is this? I'm supposed to be dead," he wondered suspiciously. "Wait, this must be heaven," he thought, coming to that conclusion. Naruto relaxed a bit more, but then he heard a low, rumbling chuckle coming from within him. "Not quite, Kit," Kurama said, startling his host. "Hey Kurama, you're still here?" Naruto exclaimed joyfully. It ain't that easy to get rid of me," Kurama replied. "What is this place, Kurama? Is this heaven?" Naruto asked, still clutching his injured body. "No, you've been given the chance to live a new life," Kurama revealed. Naruto's eyes widened in shock, though he struggled to believe the fox's words. "Come on now, you stupid furball, where are we really?" he asked more seriously. "He isn't lying," Son Goku said to Naruto, equally serious. Naruto couldn't believe what he was hearing. "How do you guys know?" Naruto asked, growing more curious by the second. "We all met up with the Sage of Six Paths, and he told us you deserve to start a new life," Kurama explained. Naruto sighed, finally believing Kurama's words. Kurama let out a deep, gravelly sigh. "Remember, Naruto, we will always be here for you, for whatever you need," Gyuki said. Naruto nodded, grateful for their support. Naruto looked around and noticed the Kusanagi lying on the ground beside him. He reached over to pick it up and examined it closely. "Oh yes, Sasuke gave me this. He entrusted me with his power. The only thing is, I have no idea how to use this sword or this eye," he thought to himself. "I'm not really skilled with the Byakugan either. Let's just say, I haven't mastered any of the new powers I've received. But I did just get these powers, so it makes sense that I'm still unfamiliar with them. Well then, I'll just have to train and learn to use my new abilities. But this time, I'll be on my own," Naruto resolved. He strolled through the forest, carrying the Kusanagi, until he discovered a riverbank. Sitting on a rock beside the water, he gazed at his reflection and noticed how worn his clothes had become. "Ah man, I need some new clothes. Maybe I can summon Gamakichi to bring me some from Mount Mayaboku," he thought. Naruto took the time to recover with the help of the tailed beasts, but it took a full 7 days to restore his body to full health. For a year in this new world, Naruto trained rigorously, pushing himself day and night. The only breaks he took were for meals. He remained secluded in the forest, never revealing himself to the new world he had entered. The training was painful and challenging, and there were moments when he doubted his abilities. It was difficult to train alone without anyone to guide him or correct his mistakes. Yet, Naruto persevered, practicing tirelessly until he felt he had perfected each technique. He practiced with all 3 dojutsu, drawing on the knowledge he gained from watching Neji and Hinata use the Byakugan, as well as Sasuke, Kakashi-sensei, Madara, and Obito wield their powerful Sharingan. With each passing day, Naruto improved, learning the intricacies of the dojutsu while acknowledging that he still had much to learn. Naruto also trained with the Kusanagi, and with his isolation and ample time, he eventually mastered Kakashi-sensei and Sasuke's signature jutsu, the Chidori. He even created his own jutsu, a combination of Chidori and Rasengan, where the Rasengan served as the core, surrounded by the Chidori. Although he had never used this jutsu on anyone, he knew it could deliver devastating damage, as it had already proven capable of demolishing thick trees and dense bushes. When the year mark arrived, Naruto was now 18 years old, and his bond with the tailed beasts had never been stronger. Despite the absence of guidance and support during his training, the tailed beasts were always there to encourage him and share their wisdom. Naruto's clothes had reached their limit, worn and torn from the shinobi war and his intense training. Fortunately, he could still summon the toads from Mount Myaboku. Gamakichi arranged to have new clothing made for him, including a new forehead protector. Naruto's new outfit consisted of an orange long-sleeved kimono shirt layered with a black sleeveless kimono shirt, which he wore open. The two shirts were held together by a red ribbon, and he wore wristbands around his forearms. He donned black capris and black shinobi sandals, topped off with a red sage cloak that had a high collar reaching up to his ears. The Kusanagi was sheathed and carried on his body, complemented by a leaf headband. Naruto's physical appearance had also changed. His hair grew slightly longer and wilder, with bangs nearly covering his eyes. His hair now reached chin length, though it was still not as long as his father's. The rigorous year of training had also given him a lean, muscular build. Even now, Naruto remained isolated from the outside world, completely unaware that wizards and magic existed beyond the forest, and he had no idea of the reputation he had gained in the world of Fiori. A young woman with long scarlet hair, dressed in heavy armor, walked through the streets of Magnolia. Her name was Urza Scarlet, known as Titania of Fairy Tale, one of the most powerful wizards in the land of Fiori. Urza had just returned from a solo mission in Harjan and felt satisfied with her reward. As she walked through the streets, dragging a cart full of luggage, her mind was preoccupied with an unsettling incident from her journey back to Magnolia. As she strolled along the trail leading home, all seemed peaceful and quiet. However, as she approached the outskirts of Magnolia, Urza halted in shock when she noticed a kunai knife embedded in the ground before her. What? But how? I thought those were only in legends, she murmured, confusion washing over her. Urza had heard stories of legendary shinobi from Makarov, tales of their prowess and the weapons they wielded, including kunai knives. But she had no idea who or what had left this one behind. Cautiously, she scanned her surroundings for any signs of danger before approaching the kunai. Is this an actual kunai? She whispered to herself, bending down to examine it. As she grasped the handle, she couldn't believe her eyes. Holding it closer, she marveled at its authenticity. But why is this here? How can it be real? Urza pondered, her curiosity turning serious. Suddenly, a rustle in the bushes caught her attention. She quickly stood up, her heart racing as she searched for the source of the sound. To her surprise, she spotted a figure with sun-kissed, wild, spiky hair. Who is that? She wondered, stepping closer for a better look. But as the figure turned, shadows obscured his face. In an instant, he vanished in a flash of movement, leaving Urza startled and eager for answers. Looking down at the kunai still in her hand, she narrowed her eyes. Who was that? And why did he look so much like? She paused, her thoughts racing. Whatever, I should probably tell the guild about this. With that, she tucked the kunai into the back of her skirt. As Urza stood in the street, other civilians passed by, oblivious to her turmoil. Did I just imagine that? Was it real? The hair. It looks too familiar, she thought, feeling puzzled. If I tell the guild, they probably won't believe me. Who would believe that I saw? If it even was him? Urza sighed, contemplating whether to share her experience. Continuing her walk, Urza eventually arrived at the Fairy Tale Guild Hall. Taking a deep breath, she pushed open the large doors and stepped into the lively atmosphere. Hey Urza, how was your mission? Master Makarov greeted her joyfully. It was a success, Master, Urza replied with a smile. That's great. Glad to hear it. Makarov chuckled, and Urza felt a sense of relief wash over her in the comforting hall of fairy tale. Yet, thoughts of the incident and the mysterious man lingered in her mind. Just as she was about to share her experience with Makarov, Natsu, Gray, Happy, and Lucy approached her. Hey Urza, how did your mission go? I bet it went well, Lucy smiled. Yes indeed, Urza replied. Awesome. We're having a party. Want to join? Natsu asked cheerfully. Since when are we not having a party? Lucy scoffed and Gray smirked. Sure, Urza said, deciding that perhaps she would share her story tomorrow. Later that night, Urza sat on her bed, holding the kunai in her hands and examining it closely, her reflections staring back at her. They say that long before magic and wizards existed, there lived shinobi who harnessed a source called chakra. They were incredibly powerful and wielded various weapons, including shurikens and kunai. There was a very powerful shinobi named Naruto Uzumaki, and it is said that when war broke out and an all-powerful goddess was revived, he sacrificed his life to seal her away forever, Makarov explained. Urza recalled the moment when Makarov shared this tale with the entire guild after Natsu came running in, claiming he had heard the same story on a mission. Now, Urza found herself pondering everything. Could they really have existed? Did shinobi truly live? Was there an actual war? Was there really a goddess? Was there truly a Naruto Uzumaki? How did such an idea even come about? Is this kunai I'm holding real? Was what I saw real? Was I just imagining things? Since that incident, these thoughts had consumed Urza's mind. She sighed, why am I even worrying about something so trivial? Hey master, do you know what Naruto Uzumaki looked like? A curious Natsu asked. What's wrong boy? Why are you so interested in this? Makarov replied, with Urza listening intently. Is he still alive? Natsu continued. Gray scoffed. What do you think, idiot? Of course he's not. Natsu shot Gray a frustrated look, who simply returned it. Natsu sighed in disappointment. Man, I wanted to fight him. Makarov chuckled. Well, many people said he had blonde spiky hair and whiskers on his face, 3 on each side. He had sky blue eyes, and that's really all there is to it. Oh, was all Natsu could say. The guild laughed, amused by Natsu's curiosity. Well, I did see that man. He did have blonde spiky hair, but drats. I couldn't see his face, Urza thought. Shaking her head to clear her mind, she looked down at the kunai. Gently, she poked the tip with her finger, quickly retracting it from its sharpness. Wow, it certainly is very sharp. Finally, Urza placed the kunai beside her on the nightstand and lay down on the bed, preparing to sleep. I want to dig deeper into this. I want answers. I need to find that man and know if he truly is Naruto Uzumaki. If it is him, then I have so much to ask. In the forest, Naruto sat against the trunk of a tree in the quiet night. He sighed. That was a close one. I'm glad she didn't see what I looked like, he thought, recalling the moment when a girl with scarlet hair, strikingly similar to his mother, picked up one of his kunai and almost caught sight of him. Yo, Kit, are you still going to remain isolated from this world? You know, there's a reason the Sage of Six Paths sent you here. It's not to hide from the world, but to interact with the people in it and use your new powers to help them out, maybe even search for peace, Kurama said. Naruto scoffed, surprised to hear such words from Kurama. He glanced at the giant 9-tailed fox. I'm still not ready yet, Naruto replied. The tailed beast sighed. Well, we're with you no matter what, Shikaku said. Naruto nodded in gratitude. Naruto narrowed his eyes, unable to shake the resemblance that woman bore to his mother. Still, why did she look at my kunai like it was something special? He pondered, struggling to find the right words. Whatever, he thought nonchalantly before drifting off to sleep. The next morning at the Fairy Tale Guild Hall, Urza walked in, determined to share her experience with the guild. Mira was one of the first to notice the serious expression on Urza's face. Hey Urza, that's a serious look even for you. Is everything all right? Mira asked, her curiosity piqued. Yeah, I'm fine, Urza replied. Mira regarded Urza with skepticism for a moment before nodding. Okay if you say so. Hey Urza! Lucy waved cheerfully as she entered the guild hall. Urza took a seat. Hey Urza! Let's fight! Natsu shouted excitedly. Urza groaned. Oh come on! I want to beat you! Natsu pouted. Elfman, Myra's younger brother, scoffed. Tisich, there's no way you'd be able to beat Urza. You'd have to be a man to take her on. Natsu shot him an irritated look. I am a man. Turning back to Urza, Natsu persisted. Listen, I'm not in the mood for this right now. Hey Natsu! Fight me! Gray shouted, charging at Natsu and bumping foreheads with him, both wearing the typical rivalry expression. Natsu returned the look. The whole guild sighed. There they go again, Mira said, while Makarov chuckled. Ugh, those two will never get along, Lucy groaned. Who said anything about me fighting you? Natsu retorted, his voice rising. Me. Listen, if you can't even beat Urza, you'll never beat Naruto Uzumaki. Gray shot back. Happy smiled sheepishly. Now, Natsu. Natsu growled. Well, you wouldn't be able to beat him either. Gray narrowed his eyes, ready to respond, but Urza stepped in between the two, placing a hand on each of their heads and pushing them apart. That's quite enough already, boys, Urza said in a stern voice, instilling a hint of fear in Natsu and Gray, effectively ending their dispute. Yes, ma'am, the two boys replied in unison, looking slightly frightened. Urza sighed and released them. The guild laughed, secretly enjoying the antics of Natsu and Gray's daily brawls. Urza turned to her guild, standing in the center of the hall with a serious expression. What's wrong, Urza? Lucy asked. Listen up. I have important news to share. Urza announced. Okay, go on then, Urza, Makarov encouraged. Urza took a deep breath, preparing herself while everyone leaned in to listen. Yesterday, during a mission, I had an incident, Urza began. Incident? Are you okay, Urza? Lucy asked, concern evident in her voice. Yes, I'm fine, Lucy, Urza assured her. Anyways, this is what I found, Urza said, reaching behind her blue skirt to carefully pull out the kunai, holding it up for everyone to see. Makarov's eyes widened, his expression turning serious as the entire guild gasped in disbelief. Urza, where did you find that? Makarov demanded, shock evident in his voice. A day ago, I was on my way back home, and just on the outskirts of Magnolia, I found this. Just lying there in the middle of the world. I couldn't resist my curiosity and I went ahead and took it, Urza said. Urza, is that really a real kunai knife? But how is that possible? Only shinobi used kunai, and shinobi are gone. Mira asked nervously. Well, I've been asking myself that question since I found it, Urza replied. Whoa, it looks so cool. I've never seen one before. I can't believe that's what Naruto Uzumaki used as a weapon back then, Natsu exclaimed excitedly. Shut up, you fire freak. This is no time to be foolish. What if this is a trick? Gray shouted, punching Natsu in annoyance. Tisich, was all Natsu replied to the ice wizard. But why would it just be stuck in the ground randomly? And more importantly, who put it there? Levi questioned. Yeah, we all know these only existed in myths. But how? Lucy trailed off. Urza narrowed her eyes as she focused on the kunai. Yeah, how do we even know it's real? Do we know if it's a fake or not? Mikao asked. Well, try touching the tip. You all said that kunai were sharp, right? I felt it last night, and it seemed pretty sharp, Urza said. Lucy carefully approached and lightly grazed the tip of the kunai with her finger. Wow, it really is sharp, Lucy exclaimed, quickly pulling her finger away. Also, this isn't all that happened. When I was taking a closer look at it, I saw someone in the bushes. I couldn't see much because the sun was blocking my view, but I remember bright blonde spiky hair, a long red coat with a high collar, and a sword on his back. He turned to look at me, and just as I was about to get a better look, his face was obscured by shadows. Then he vanished in an instant, faster than any wizard alive. Urza explained. Some of the members looked at Urza in confusion and doubt. Urza, are you trying to say that? You saw Naruto Uzumaki, Mira asked. Urza sighed. No, not at all. I'm not trying to make assumptions because I know Naruto Uzumaki is gone. But I can't shake the feeling that he looked so familiar, even though I've never seen him around town before. Everyone fell silent, unsure whether to believe Urza. Even Natsu hesitated. As much as he wanted to meet his role model and fight him, he couldn't convince himself that Naruto was truly alive. Urza grunted in frustration, understanding why her guildmates looked at her that way. It was too unreal to believe that someone from a time before magic could still be alive. Listen, I understand that this is a big shock and that you don't believe me. But look, you are all looking at this kunai. It is real, Urza insisted. Lucy, you felt how sharp it was. I was there, I know what I saw. Mira looked at Urza sympathetically. As much as she wanted to believe her, she couldn't bring herself to. Urza, how do you know it's Naruto? Everyone knows he is gone. He sacrificed his life to seal away Kagaya Otsutsuki, the mother of all chakra, Mikao said. Urza looked down. I know what I saw. What if this kunai belongs to him? What if it was a kunai that Naruto accidentally dropped? What if he decided not to retrieve it because he saw me and was scared off? What if he is out there? Urza said, trailing off. Urza, I will admit that this kunai certainly is real. But I simply can't believe that it belonged to the legendary Naruto Uzumaki. Now you're just speaking nonsense, Gray said. Urza sighed. I know, but it seems so real. You probably just imagined it. I mean, it's understandable that picking up something like this would make you think all sorts of things, but... Lucy said. I guess. Urza replied in defeat. Urza narrowed her eyes. No, I know what I saw. I saw a man with wild, spiky blonde hair that resembled Naruto Uzumaki's too much. There is a reason this kunai was here. It didn't just appear. I know no other shinobi with blonde hair like his, and no wizard in Fiori uses a kunai knife. I swear I will find this man, and he will answer my questions. After that, Urza decided to take a walk in the forest, back to the same place where she found the kunai. Urza sighed. I can't really blame them for not believing me. If I were them, I would probably doubt it as well. Naruto Uzumaki has been gone for as long as magic has existed. It feels too fake and unbelievable. She stopped at the spot where she found the kunai and looked at the forest surrounding the path. Urza strayed from it and walked deeper into the woods. As she wandered further, she began to feel an intense aura of power. What is this feeling? Urza wondered. She ventured even deeper until she noticed trees with unusual scratch marks. Approaching one, she examined the marks closely. No, an animal couldn't have made these. These marks definitely came from a very sharp object, Urza deduced, moving further into the forest where the aura intensified. Finally, Urza gently pushed through the thick bushes until she reached an open space, where she saw the impossible. Where she saw Naruto Uzumaki. Urza was completely fixated on Naruto, her body frozen in shock as she struggled to believe that she had found him so easily. There it was again, the brilliant blonde spiky hair she had once seen. Still in doubt, Urza tried to maneuver around the bushes for a better look at him. She just had to see his face. Meanwhile, Naruto sat peacefully in the middle of the clearing, meditating, the Kusanagi resting beside him, seemingly unaware of his observer. Finally, Urza found a spot where she could see Naruto directly. She smirked. I finally found you. I only wish some other people were with me. Although Naruto acted as if he was oblivious to Urza, he had sensed her presence long before she approached him. Hey, are you going to talk to her? Kurama asked. Maybe not. I'm moving to a different area. I don't like being watched while I'm trying to relax, Naruto replied. Whatever you say, Kurama responded. Naruto opened his eyes and stood up, bending down to grab the Kusanagi. Urza's eyes widened. No. He's leaving again. She wanted to stand up, to catch up to him before he vanished, but shock kept her rooted to the ground. She couldn't believe that Naruto Uzumaki was right there in front of her. Once more, Naruto turned to look at Urza, whose heart melted at the sight of his kind, sky-blue eyes. She marveled at his wild, spiky blonde hair and adored his innocent whisker marks. Before he left, he spoke softly, but loud enough for her to hear. "Sorry, but maybe another time." Urza gasped, finally finding the courage to push herself off the ground, step out of the bushes, and face the legendary figure. But it was too late, he was already gone. Urza walked over to where he had stood, inhaling the lingering scent of ramen that clung to him. She clenched her fists in frustration. Damn it! I'm such a fool. I should have had the courage to talk to him. That was him. The famous Naruto Uzumaki, she berated herself. Should I tell the guild? She wondered. Urza began walking back to the guild hall, contemplating whether to share her encounter. It is him. Those whiskers, that spiky blonde hair, and those stunning blue eyes. I know I'm not imagining things. I felt his powerful aura and he spoke to me. That proves it. I can tell he must be very powerful just from the aura he gave off. He's definitely someone not to anger, Urza thought. I have to get him to talk to me. I want to know why he's here, how he got here and more. I need to get his attention and I will. As she strolled through the streets, she continued to ponder, should I tell the guild? Shaking her head, she concluded, no, they'd never believe me. If they didn't believe me before, they definitely won't now. But that doesn't mean I have to stop searching for him. I'm going out there again to find him. If he really is out there, he's alone, with no one to show him around this world. Who knows how long he's been here? Naruto has done so many great things, and he's the reason why magic and wizards exist. Someone has to be there for him. Urza thought. But then again, there's a good chance he just wants to be left alone. Even so, I at least need to have a good conversation with him. I need answers. When Urza finally arrived back at the guild, she was still unsure whether to tell her fellow guildmates about her encounter. She knew no one would believe her, not even Natsu. It was odd, considering Natsu should be one of the people who believed her since he had always looked up to Naruto and even wanted to fight him. Urza pushed open the doors and walked into the noisy guild hall. Hello, Urza. Mira greeted cheerfully. Urza responded with a simple wave. She sat down at the bar, looking over at Mira as she approached. So, are you still thinking about, Naruto or that kunai? Mira asked. Urza nodded. Mira sighed. Do you really believe he's out there? Naruto Uzumaki. Urza remained silent, contemplating whether to share her experience with Mira. Yes, I do. He's really out there. How else can you explain the kunai I found and the fact that I encountered someone who looked just like him? Urza insisted. Mira sighed again. I understand, Urza, but what if this is a trap? What if someone is setting this up? Urza grunted in frustration. She knew this could easily be dismissed, especially given her recent incident. But she also knew that if she told Mira, she would never believe it. Mira chuckled, lightening the mood. I didn't expect you to be so invested in this. So invested in someone everyone admires but is gone. It reveals a new side to you, Urza. Urza smirked. Every day is full of surprises. Mira giggled. It would be interesting to see Naruto. How would everyone react? I mean, he's basically a legendary figure now. Natsu himself wants to fight him. He never stops talking about Naruto. Urza laughed. Well, I'm going to continue my search. Mira shook her head. Just be careful and don't get too invested. Know when to give up sometimes. After spending some time at the guild with her friends, Urza headed back to Fairy Hills. As she stepped into her home, thoughts of Naruto Uzumaki flooded her mind. What happens if we actually come face to face? What if he seems a little unfriendly? What if he runs off again? Urza pondered, not wanting to dwell on the uncertainties. But he said, sorry, but maybe another time. Does that mean he intends to meet me? She wondered as she sat on her bed. So many questions filled her mind, and she knew these could only be answered if she managed to confront him face to face. Urza changed into her pajamas and went to sleep, deciding to deal with the chaos the next day. The next day, Urza found herself in the forest again, searching for the blonde shinobi. She carefully followed the path where she had originally found Naruto, hoping against hope that he would be there again. However, a gut feeling told her he wouldn't be there, and she sensed that powerful aura was missing. When she arrived at the open space, just as she suspected, no one was there. Damn it! Urza exclaimed, continuing her trek away from the area. She walked on, peering around and scanning through the trees. After about an hour, her confidence began to wane. I should head back for now, Urza said, disappointment creeping into her voice. With no leads or signs of the legendary shinobi, she started her journey back to the guild. I wonder if he's trying to avoid me. Urza pondered as she walked, letting out a sigh. But then, just as she was about to give up for the day, she felt it again, the intense, powerful aura of Naruto. She knew it was coming from somewhere deep within the forest, indicating that he was nearby. Urza narrowed her eyes and took a deep breath. If I follow this aura, I will definitely find him again. This time, I won't let him escape. Calmly, she began to follow the source of the aura. I know it's him. I've felt this presence before. I will find him, she affirmed with determination. After what felt like hours, Urza finally spotted him. From a distance, she saw Naruto leaning against the trunk of a tree, peacefully napping. Relief washed over her. I finally found you, the legend himself, Naruto Uzumaki, she thought triumphantly. This time, Urza didn't hesitate. Tired of losing him, she boldly approached the sleeping figure, who looked so innocent as he rested. A small part of her felt guilty for waking him, but she couldn't let this opportunity slip away. She had searched for him for too long. Leaning over, she gently tapped his shoulder. As she looked around, she noticed the Kusanagi lying beside him. Wow, he's a swordsman, interesting, Urza mused. Raising an eyebrow, she saw that Naruto still hadn't woken up. Deciding to be a bit more assertive, she placed her hand on his shoulder and gave him a gentle push. Finally, Naruto began to stir. When he opened his eyes and saw the scarlet-haired woman before him, they widened in surprise. Urza watched in disbelief. My eyes must be playing tricks on me. It really is him. Naruto sprang to his feet, grabbing the Kusanagi and stepping away from the tree, his blue eyes fixed on Urza. I can't believe it. It really is you, Naruto Uzumaki, Urza exclaimed. Naruto took a step back, confusion etched on his face as he quickly secured Sasuke's katana on his back. Who are you? How do you know my name? He asked, alarmed. Urza raised an eyebrow in response. For a moment, she stood there, staring at him in confusion before the realization hit her. Right? He doesn't know anything about this world. He doesn't know me, nor does he realize he's already well known here. How foolish of me not to introduce myself. Naruto remained puzzled. Listen, I don't know who you are, but I should get going, he said, trying to slip away. As he turned his back, Urza reached out and grabbed his arm, stopping him in his tracks. She marveled at his broad shoulders as he gently shook her hand off and retracted his arm. Wait, I'm Urza Scarlet. She finally introduced herself. Naruto looked down, hesitant to meet her gaze, partly because she reminded him of Kushina. I want to talk to you, please. I have so many questions and I need answers. So please, will you turn around and look me in the eye? Can we converse face to face? Urza asked softly. With a defeated sigh, Naruto finally turned around, meeting Urza's gaze. She felt as though his beautiful blue eyes were looking directly into her soul. What do you want? He asked. I just want to talk to you, Urza replied. But why do you want to talk to me? I don't even know you. I've never met you, Naruto said, mistrust evident in his voice. How about we have a proper introduction? Urza suggested, extending her hand and looking at him intently. Naruto hesitated but eventually reached out to shake her hand. Urza smiled. I am Urza Scarlet. Nice to meet you. Naruto held her hand, a subtle smile forming on his lips. I am Naruto Uzumaki. Nice to meet you, Urza Scarlet. Though his smile was slight, Urza noticed it and felt pleased that he had finally cracked a smile, even if just a little. Now, I'm a wizard from Fiori. I reside in the town of Magnolia with my guild, Fairy Tail. In this world, wizards use magic to combat their enemies, Urza began to explain. The reason I know who you are is that you are regarded as a legend here. Everyone knows about Shinobi and your story. I've heard many tales about you from the master of my guild. I admire you greatly for your power and what you've accomplished in the past. Because of you, There is now magic and wizards, Urza concluded. I see, Naruto replied, taking a moment to absorb the information. So, how long have you been here? Urza asked, eager to get some answers. 1 year, Naruto finally answered. Urza's eyes widened. 1 year? In this forest? You've never stepped out before? Naruto nodded. I spent a year training and learning all my new powers. But why didn't you ever show yourself to the world? Urza pressed. Simply because I was too busy training, Naruto replied, and it was the truth. Wow, what were you training on? Urza asked. That's none of your business, Naruto said. Urza grunted in frustration. So, have you finished your training now? She asked. Yes, Naruto replied. Then will you let me show you around? You've been cooped up in this forest for a whole year and haven't stepped out into the world. You must know nothing and you can't just stay hidden forever. You will need someone to guide you around here. So please, will you come with me, Naruto? Urza asked earnestly. Kurama chuckled. She's right, Naruto. Go for it. It's time to leave this gloomy forest. He rumbled. Yeah. Go, Naruto. You're ready. Shikaku encouraged, along with the other tailed beasts. Naruto looked at her for a moment before sighing and conceding. Okay. Urza smirked. Thanks. And so, Urza took Naruto around, showing him all the different places and happenings in the town. While Urza easily ignored the curious stares of the townspeople scrutinizing Naruto, he did his best to avoid their gazes. Words couldn't express the excitement Urza felt, eager for her fellow guild members to meet Naruto and to be the one to introduce someone regarded as a legend. Urza pushed open the doors with enthusiasm, Naruto standing casually behind her with his hands tucked into his pockets. But they were met with a scene of panic, and Urza's face contorted with concern as she puzzled over everyone's frantic behavior. Naruto furrowed his brows, hoping nothing too terrible had happened. Just as Urza was about to speak, the entire guild fell silent, turning to witness the unbelievable. Kana nearly choked on her drink, Wakaba's cigarette fell from his mouth in shock, Mira dropped 2 glasses, causing them to shatter, and even Makarov was taken aback, his eyes wide. The guild was in awe, feeling Naruto's intense aura, especially Master Makarov. What an intense aura, Makarov observed. Is that? But how? He's supposed to be dead. Long dead, way before magic was even spoken. How is this possible? Laxus thought in disbelief. I'm seeing this, but I still don't believe it, Wakaba said. Same, Mikao replied. Elfman narrowed his eyes. So it turns out Urza was telling the truth. Urza glanced back at the blonde and then at her guild. Naruto. Uzumaki? Mira asked. Urza nodded. Naruto sighed. Great. It's like I just made a grand entrance like Orochimaru. The wild, messy blonde spiky hair, 6 whiskers on each side, sky blue eyes, and that overwhelming energy. There's no doubt about it. This is him. The legendary Naruto Uzumaki, Makarov confirmed. The guild could only stare at the blonde shinobi standing before them. But Laxus remained skeptical. There's no way. Come on, you guys, you actually believe this? It's just an illusion, Laxus said, disrupting the moment. Naruto looked up at Laxus, narrowing his eyes. Listen, Laxus. We didn't believe Urza at first, but there's no way we can doubt her now. I mean, look at him. Mikao said. Laxus scoffed. Yeah, right. Anyone could dress up as Naruto and pretend to be him. There's no way Naruto Uzumaki is dead. Irritated by his words, Naruto reached for his ninja pouch and pulled out a kunai, throwing it toward Laxus, but purposely missing him. The kunai struck the wall with a force that would have been dangerous to anyone hit. Laxus gulped, fear creeping in as he looked into Naruto's eyes. Though they appeared innocent, they held an intensity that sent a chill down his spine. Everyone stared in shock. Naruto eyed Laxus sharply. I'm standing right here. Does it really seem like I'm dead? He asked in a calm yet firm voice. Laxus shook his head frantically. Don't you dare criticize others when you're acting like a fool yourself. People like you really get on my nerves, Naruto said, his tone steady but laced with tension. The guild fell silent, witnessing someone stand up to Laxus and genuinely frighten him. Wow, that's the first time I've ever seen Laxus that scared, Wakaba remarked. Urza's eyes widened. Well, he definitely can be very intimidating, even more than me. Naruto is not someone to mess with. But that just makes him even more intriguing. Mira slowly stepped out from behind the bar, making her way toward Naruto. Urza stepped aside, knowing Mira wanted to confirm for herself that the person before her was indeed who he claimed to be. Mira reached out, poking him in the chest. Are you really Naruto Uzumaki? Are you really alive? Standing here, in front of us? She asked, her hand moving to feel his hair, pleasantly surprised by its softness despite its wild appearance. The guild watched intently. Mira then guided her hand from Naruto's hair down to his face, tracing one of his whiskers before stepping back. Naruto remained calm and smiled. Well, you tell me. You were the one who came up to me and touched me. Probably to see if I was real, right? He chuckled slightly. I am standing here, aren't I? I'm speaking, aren't I? And I'm solid. So you tell me if I am real or not. Urza thought, I can't blame Mira. It took me a while to stand on my feet when I first saw him. I too thought he might be an illusion. Well, Mira? Please, give us your response. Because I believe all of us would like to know if the being standing before Fairy Tail is truly the legendary Naruto Uzumaki, Master Makarov added. How about this, prove to us that you are truly Naruto Uzumaki, Mira challenged. Naruto stood still and silent for a moment before relenting. Urza watched him, curious about how he would prove his identity to her guild members. Haven't I shown you enough proof? Just look at me. If you truly know about shinobi, then you should be aware of the attire we usually wear, Naruto explained. He reached behind him, grabbed the kusanagi, and carefully placed it on the ground. A ninja's attire consists of a forehead protector, which you can see on my forehead. It bears the symbol of the village where I was born and raised. We also carry pouches, one on our back and one on our leg. These pouches hold our weapons, such as shurikens, ninja stars, and kunai knives. You all should be familiar with those if Urza has shown you one. By the way, the kunai knife that Urza found was mine. I apologize for that, it was an accident, and I was just being careless. Lastly, we wear sandals, Naruto continued. Makarov studied Naruto, arms folded across his chest, his eyes focused intently on the shinobi. I can tell just by observing you and looking into your eyes, Naruto, that you are telling the truth, Makarov added. We trust Master Makarov's judgment. If he believes you, then we believe you too, Mira concluded. But how are you here? What happened after your battle with Kagaya Otsutsuki? Makarov asked. Naruto smiled and shook his head, remaining silent. That information I am not ready to share yet, he replied. Makarov nodded. I understand. We haven't earned your trust yet. We just met. Take your time. If Natsu were here, he would be so excited. He's wanted to meet you for the longest time. Speaking of Natsu, where is he? I haven't seen him around, and I also haven't seen Gray or Lucy. Are they on a mission? Urza asked. Mira giggled nervously, while the guild braced for the news that was about to unfold. Well, you see, Urza. Natsu. Mira hesitated. Urza raised an eyebrow. Go on. Natsu and Lucy took an S-class mission without permission, and Gray went to try and bring them back. But since he hasn't returned, he's probably caught up in the mission too. Mira finally explained. Silence rippled through the guild hall before chaos erupted. What? Urza exclaimed, her face contorting in anger. So, we were wondering if you could go and bring them back. Mira asked. Urza nodded firmly. You got it. I'll make sure to bring them back, even if I have to drag them. Mira and the rest of the guild nodded, feeling a bit more relieved. Urza smirked and turned to Naruto, who was listening with a nonchalant expression. Naruto, would you mind coming along to help me fetch some fools? Urza suggested. Naruto thought for a moment. Go for it. You need action. Let's see if your training paid off. Kurama encouraged. Go, Naruto. We'll be by your side no matter what. Gyuki added. Go, Naruto. Son Goku joined in, along with the other tailed beasts. Do not worry. You are ready, we will be with you, Matatabi assured. Naruto paused, looking at the wizards. The guilds stared curiously, while Laxus regarded Naruto with disdain. Naruto smirked and shrugged playfully. Why not? Yeah. The entire guild cheered in excitement. This isn't happening, is it? The great Naruto Uzumaki and the great Titania Urza teaming up. This is unreal. Elfman said in disbelief. Urza smirked back. Well then, what are we waiting for? We have some fools to retrieve. Hold on, do these people also know me? Naruto asked. Urza nodded vigorously. Oh yes, one in particular in fact. She referred to Natsu. Naruto chuckled. Well, I guess it can't be helped. Makarov kept an eye on Naruto as he and Urza moved farther from the guild hall, setting off to retrieve Urza's wayward friends. Questions swirled in Makarov's mind. He was sure he wasn't the only one eager to learn more about the legendary figure. Everyone in Fairy Tail was desperate for answers about Naruto. However, Laxus completely despised Naruto. He hated that Naruto could genuinely intimidate him, the way he looked at him, and how he treated him. But what Laxus hated most was knowing that Naruto was truly more powerful than he was. So, do you think Naruto will join Fairy Tail, Master? Mikao asked. That would be so cool. Just think about it. Naruto Uzumaki, the legendary shinobi who defeated a goddess to save everyone he loved, joining the infamous Fairy Tail Guild. It has a nice ring to it. Wakaba added excitedly. Mira giggled. I hope that's not the only reason you want Naruto to join us. But it would definitely add more chaos to our already chaotic lives, Levi laughed. Makarov chuckled. Well, whether or not Naruto decides to join us is entirely up to him. If he does choose to join Fairy Tail, we will welcome him with open arms. For a while, as Naruto and Urza walked through the streets toward the harbor, Naruto remained silent, processing everything that had just happened. After a long hour of silence, Urza felt the need to break it and decided to start a conversation in the least awkward way possible. So, will you join the Fairy Tail Guild? Urza asked. Naruto glanced at her, and for some reason, every time he looked at her, he saw his mother, Kushina Uzumaki. This was one reason he tried to avoid Urza. Naruto hesitated but finally answered, I don't know. I see. Well, you should think about it, Urza said. Naruto nodded. Would you mind telling me more about yourself? I have so many questions, Urza asked eagerly. I promise I will share more down the road. But right now, I'm not ready to do that, Naruto replied. Urza smiled. It's okay, I understand. Take your time, there's no need to rush. Naruto looked at Urza, appreciating her understanding. Finally, he smiled. Your hair is very beautiful. Urza blushed slightly. Thank you. So, who else knows me in this world? Naruto asked. Almost everyone in Fiori. You are regarded as a legend here, Urza replied. Naruto looked around. Oh really? He noticed many townspeople looking at him as if they had just witnessed a legendary battle. One person in particular has looked up to you for a long time. He even wants to challenge you, Urza said, referring to Natsu. Naruto was surprised. Who is it? Urza smirked. You'll know when we get there. Naruto sighed and chuckled. Alrighty then. The two continued walking down the streets, not letting the stares from the people bother them. Urza narrowed her eyes, sensing that Naruto wasn't ready to share much about himself yet. But she was eager to learn more about him. Everything about him intrigued her, and she was captivated. Naruto-san, she called out. Naruto stopped walking upon hearing the honorific. That title made him feel older than he really was. You don't have to call me that, anything else is fine. Sen just makes me feel old, Naruto chuckled. Urza laughed along. Naruto-kun. Naruto nodded. With that, Urza resumed her earlier serious demeanor. She hesitated, knowing she was prying too much. Naruto let out a calm breath. Be patient, Urza. I will tell you. I promise, right now. So much has happened in such a short time, I need some time. Urza gripped her fists tightly, thinking, I knew he needed time before opening up, yet I still continued to ask. So, Could you fill me in on the situation? What is the S-class job your friends took on? What are we up against? And what is Galuna Island? Naruto asked. Urza narrowed her eyes. Apparently, it's a cursed island, and rumor has it that anyone who has gone to Galuna Island has never made it back alive. They say that you'll turn into a demon if you step on Galuna, Urza explained. Interesting, Naruto said. Do you believe it? I wonder if we'll actually turn into demons, Urza asked. Not really, Naruto said bluntly, chuckling slightly. Well, I don't care if I turn into a demon. I'll definitely bring those idiots back, demonized or not, Urza assured. So all you have to do is lift the curse, right? Naruto said. Urza nodded. Well then, should we finish the mission for them? It's not good to leave a mission unfinished, Naruto suggested. Urza hesitated before she nodded. You're right. Finally, Naruto and Urza arrived at the harbor where the boats would set sail from the harbor of Harjin. Why are we riding on a boat? Naruto asked. Well, we are going overseas, Naruto-kun, Urza said. I guess so, Naruto replied. Why, do you have an alternative to a boat? Urza asked. Naruto thought about just walking across the water, which would be much easier for a ninja like him. But that required chakra, something he knew Urza did not possess. Naruto shook his head at Urza. I do, but we'll try getting a boat. Urza nodded. It won't be easy though. If this island is really what you say it is, then no one would probably want to take us there, Naruto said. I know. But we still have to try, Urza said. Okay. And so, Urza asked many boatmen, trying to convince one to take her and Naruto to Galuna Island. But every one of them refused. After many tries and failures, Urza began to lose faith. Not a single boatman will take us to Galuna, she said, huffing in frustration and looking over to Naruto for any ideas or suggestions. Naruto noticed and sighed. Try one more time. Urza closed her eyes, taking a deep breath before she proceeded once again to find another boatman. She nudged Naruto, getting his attention, and pointed over to a boatman she had spotted. Let's try that one. Naruto nodded. Urza walked ahead while Naruto trailed close behind. Excuse me, sir, but could you take us to Galuna Island, please? Urza asked politely. Like the others, this boatman looked at them with confusion. You want to go to Galuna? Sure, go ahead, but I'm not taking you there. No way, he said firmly. Urza sighed and turned to look at Naruto, who nodded. Urza, I know you will have lots of questions after seeing this. I know it's unreasonable for me to ask you for this, but please save those questions for later. Trust me on this, Naruto said. Okay. Naruto closed his eyes, forming a hand seal before reopening them, revealing his transformed eyes. Urza's mouth dropped as she gaped in awe. Naruto, you were right. I certainly do have lots of questions. But for your sake only, I will not ask them now. Naruto strolled over beside Urza slowly and looked straight into the boatman's eyes. The boatman stood paralyzed with slight fear as he gazed into the deep, compelling eyes. The boatman then slowly began to faint, his eyes rolling back as he fell over in the boat, nearly toppling into the water. Naruto flashed onto the boat, catching him just in time. Urza looked on, astonished. Naruto then lifted the now unconscious boatman and threw him gently over his shoulder. He hopped back onto the deck and walked over to a shop. Urza followed closely behind as they rushed over to a simple small shop selling food and clothes. Excuse me, this man fainted. Could you get him somewhere safe, please? He asked the owner of the store. At first, the owner looked at Naruto and Urza with suspicion and confusion, but then nodded and took the boatman from Naruto's shoulders, bringing him into the shop. I've got you covered, the owner said. Naruto and Urza sighed in relief. Thank you so much, they both said and hurried out of the store. So are we just going to take the boat? Urza asked. Well, do we have any other choice? Naruto replied. Right, she said reluctantly. The two stepped onto the boat. Urza unhooked the boat before they finally set sail. So, I'm sure you're wanting to know what I just did, Naruto inquired. Yes, please, Urza replied. I put him under an illusion which is just like a dream world. It wasn't too powerful to keep him out for a whole week, but it is enough to keep him down for at least a day or two, Naruto explained. I see. That is amazing indeed. The others will love you so much after meeting you, Urza smirked. Naruto chuckled. Now then, let's go and fetch these idiots, Urza said. Right. The sun had just set when Naruto and Urza finally set off. They sailed through the water toward Galuna Island, both remaining silent. Naruto leaned back slightly, looking out into the open sea, his expression reflecting a deep sadness. His hair blew gently in the wind as he twirled a kunai in his hand. Urza, perceptive as always, noticed the sorrow in Naruto's kind blue eyes. She wondered what had caused him such pain, longing to see happiness return to his gaze. However, she hesitated to ask, fearing that her questions might bring up memories he wished to forget. How are you doing that with the kunai? Urza asked, breaking the silence that had begun to weigh heavily on her. Naruto snapped out of his daze and turned to her. Honestly, I don't know either. It's just a habit that most ninjas have when they're bored or thinking, he replied. I see, Urza said, intrigued. She looked at the blonde shinobi, curious to learn more, eager to discover if the myths about him were true. Yet, she knew better than to bombard him with questions right away. Out of curiosity, Urza took out her own kunai, attempting to twirl it like Naruto. This is harder than it seems. I don't know how you guys do it, she chuckled, struggling to keep it spinning. After a while, she grew bored and stopped, while Naruto continued his twirling. Urza. Right. Naruto called, unsure if he had remembered her name correctly. Urza smiled and nodded. That's my name. What do you need? Do you know how to get to Galuna Island? Naruto asked, a hint of nervousness in his voice. Yes, of course, Urza assured him firmly. Suddenly, Naruto stopped twirling his kunai, his expression shifting from calm to anxious. Urza noticed and mirrored his concern. What's wrong, Naruto? I sense something bad. Do you feel that uneasy presence? He said, scanning the surroundings. Urza paused, recalling a strange feeling that didn't fit with the calm night sea. She nodded. Does this mean we're close? Probably, and I hope everything is okay over there. I have a bad feeling about this, Urza admitted, worry creeping into her voice. If anything happens, will you help us? We might need it, she said. Naruto chuckled, a smirk forming on his lips. Well, that's the whole reason I came along, right? Urza returned the smirk. Thank you. Urza, I know this seems a bit hypocritical of me, but do you mind if I ask you some questions? Naruto inquired, his tone reserved. Urza smiled and nodded. Of course. Fire away. Who exactly are the people we are on our way to fetch? Are they your friends? Naruto asked. Urza sighed, still feeling frustrated with Natsu, Happy, and Lucy for taking on an S-class mission without proper approval. She was particularly annoyed that Gray hadn't stopped them and had been dragged along as well. Naruto chuckled slightly, understanding her frustration. He remembered pestering Tsunade back in the Hidden Leaf Village for tougher missions. Yes, they are my precious friends. I care for them all very much. Natsu is a hyperactive wizard with pink hair who uses fire magic to battle his enemies. He's incredibly powerful and has a lot of potential. He's also a huge admirer of yours, Urza explained, introducing Team Natsu to Naruto. Gray is a wizard who uses ice magic and creation magic in battle. He's also very powerful and has great potential, and he admires you as well, she continued. Lucy is a blonde girl who is a celestial wizard. She uses keys to summon celestial spirits to fight alongside her. And finally, there's Happy, a blue talking cat. I know it sounds strange, but I wanted to give you a heads up for when you meet him later, she finished, chuckling lightly. Naruto nodded. I see. It didn't sound strange to him at all. After all, he had 9 powerful talking-tailed beasts living inside him. However, I'm quite unhappy with them at the moment. I'm frustrated that they took on an S-class mission. It's against the rules. Only an S-class wizard like myself can take on such missions, and they must be approved by Master Makarov, Urza explained, her voice tinged with irritation. I understand now. Thank you for answering my questions. I have a better idea of the situation, Naruto smiled. Their conversation continued until they reached Galuna Island, where they immediately spotted the eerie purple glow of the moon. I see things have already gone south, Naruto said uneasily, narrowing his eyes. Urza nodded, her brow furrowed. Well then we better get going. Right? Naruto replied, and the two warriors set off in the direction where a certain blonde awaited. Naruto ran at an incredible speed. While this felt normal to him, Urza had to push herself to keep up. Ninjas were much faster than regular humans. Soon, they began to hear faint sounds of a raging battle and the terrified cries of what seemed to be a young girl. Hey, Naruto, do you hear that? I hear voices and a battle going on, Urza said, glancing at him. Naruto nodded. I hear two voices. Do you recognize any of them? Urza listened carefully as they ran. One sounds like Lucy from our team, but the other I don't know, she replied. Then I guess it's safe to assume that the other voice belongs to Lucy's opponent, Naruto theorized. Urza nodded in agreement. As they continued, both remained wary of the eerie purple moon overhead. I wonder what happened to the moon, Urza mused, concern etched on her face. Naruto shook his head, not sure. Meanwhile, the atmosphere was filled with the terrified screams of a young blonde named Lucy as she frantically ran, doing her best to avoid the deadly swings of a monstrous rock creature. Her face was covered in sweat, and her expression was one of panic. Don't let her get away, Rock Doll. Let's teach that foolish girl a lesson, commanded another young lady named Sherry, with pink hair pulled into two pigtails. The Rock Doll ummed and groaned in response. Who are you calling a little girl? We're the same age, and I might even be a little older. Lucy shouted angrily as she continued to run, her breaths heavy. It's not a good idea to keep babbling like that unless you want us to catch you. Sherry taunted. Lucy took out her golden celestial keys, frantically deciding which spirit would be the most helpful in this situation. But none of them seemed to work. You'd better hurry. If you don't start moving faster, we're going to catch up with you. Sherry continued. Lucy dodged the rock doll's attacks until she realized its foot was just above her head, ready to crush her. She looked up in horror and screamed. I command you to crush her flat. Sherry ordered. The rock doll roared as its foot came crashing down, barely missing Lucy, who found herself cornered at the edge of a cliff. The cliff began to crack, and Lucy's heart raced as it completely detached, sending her plummeting down. A huge explosion echoed as dust particles flew everywhere. Once it settled, Lucy lay on the sand in a daze. Naruto and Urza were slightly startled by the loud noise, their nerves on edge. You heard that, right? Urza asked. No doubt, and it came from the area where your friend is battling, Naruto confirmed. Urza's face reflected both frustration and worry. She was concerned for Lucy but also frustrated that Lucy had taken the job along with Natsu, Gray, and Happy. Noticing Urza's growing anxiety, Naruto said, Come on, let's hurry so we can help your friends. His words snapped Urza out of her daze, and she nodded firmly. Open. Gate of the water barrier. Aquarius. Lucy chanted, holding the key in her hands. She inserted the key into the water and gestured as if unlocking. A door. Out came a beautiful mermaid with long blue silky hair, wearing a matching blue bra and tail, along with a darker blue choker. She had golden wristbands pushed up to her shoulders and carried an urn. Aquarius? How does a weakling like you have a spirit with that kind of power? Sherry shouted, confused and demanding. Lucy pointed at Sherry. That girl is our enemy. You hate her kind, so go get her. Aquarius let out in annoyance, infuriating Lucy. I don't have time for your bad attitude. Get over there and take her down now. Lucy demanded, shaking her hands frantically. I see you're just as annoying as ever. No wonder you still don't have a boyfriend, Aquarius said, emphasizing the last part. This only made Lucy angrier. Geez, why do you have to rub it in like that? Marionette attack. Sherry chanted, taking advantage of the moment. She held out her hands, and two pink magic circles appeared. Aquarius's eyes glowed a purplish color. What? She said in confusion. Sherry chuckled evilly. She's under my spell, so she won't do your bidding anymore. Lucy looked on nervously. Might as well send her back. Sherry taunted. But Lucy refused to give up. No way. Aquarius is still my ace in the hole, Lucy said, confident in her spirit. I bet you won't think that when the sea washes away your existence. Now, Aquarius, get rid of this girl once and for all. Sherry commanded. What? The mermaid hollered, even more confused. Aquarius raised her urn, and a massive flood of water burst forth, creating a wave that headed for Lucy, who whimpered. However, the wave didn't just wash Lucy away. As Sherry cackled, it carried both girls along, their screams echoing in the chaos. Aquarius stood aside at a safe distance, allowing the wave to finish off the girls. And I thought the blonde girl was foolish. I can close my own gate, thank you very much. Bye. Aquarius smirked as she vanished. When the wave finally receded, it left both girls dazed. Lucy struggled to rise from the sand, gripping it for support. She finally stood up but wobbled on her legs. Leave it to Aquarius to throw her waves against friend and foe alike, Lucy said with a shaky voice. Sherry also managed to get to her feet, wobbling like Lucy. I hate myself for letting you trick me again. But it doesn't matter because she wasn't strong enough to defeat my rock doll, Sherry whimpered. The two bumped into each other as they wobbled, facing each other fiercely. They began to brawl, throwing and thrashing their arms as they argued. Their fight ended when Lucy, having had enough, swung her arm at Sherry, successfully defeating her. No. How did this happen to me? I never lose. Sherry whined in defeat. Oh yeah? Well, you just did to a wizard from Fairy Tale. Lucy shouted triumphantly. Sherry's rock doll shattered along with its owner's defeat. Although the flame of my life has been extinguished far too soon, my love for you will blaze on forever, Cold Emperor. Sherry declared dramatically. You're not going to die, so let's tone down the drama, okay? Lucy replied. Angelica, avenge your master's death. Sherry added weakly, the life in her eyes fading. Lucy widened her eyes in alarm. A giant blue rat swooped in, flattening itself as it prepared to crash down on Lucy, who turned around in a panic. But I thought that rat was one of her puppets. Lucy exclaimed, trying to run but tripping instead. Angelica focused in on her. I can't move my legs for some reason. Lucy cried out, her heart racing. As the rat drew closer, Lucy let out another desperate scream. Come on, make it. Just when Lucy thought she was about to be overwhelmed, she felt herself lift off the ground as two gentle yet strong arms wrapped around her waist, carrying her away from danger and to safety. Lucy looked up at her savior, taking in the sun-kissed blonde spiky hair, the whiskers on his cheeks, and the kind sky-blue eyes that gazed down at her with concern. Lucy felt her cheeks warm. Wow. Who is he? As Lucy was being carried away from danger, she gazed into the deep ocean blue eyes of her mysterious savior. Those eyes were so captivating that Lucy felt she could get lost in them forever. When the mysterious man landed and gently set Lucy down, the first thing she noticed was his bright sun-kissed blonde hair, wild and spiky. Looking up, she saw a friendly yet strangely familiar face with beautiful blue eyes that held a hint of sadness. Finally, Lucy mustered the courage to whisper, "Hello." The young man smiled kindly. "Are you okay, miss? I hope you aren't injured." "Oh, don't worry. I'm fine thanks to you," Lucy replied, feeling a sense of relief. He has blonde hair like me. But the danger was far from over. Angelica, realizing she had missed her target, leaped back into the air for another attempt to crush her two targets. The man immediately stepped in front of Lucy as she gasped in fear, ready to protect her. Suddenly, a metallic swipe struck Angelica, and she fell limp, crashing onto the sand as the famous scarlet-haired wizard Urza followed closely behind, saving the man from further trouble. Urza did not look pleased at all. Lucy peeked over the man's broad shoulders to see Angelica defeated and sighed in relief. She turned to see Urza, who was now waving at her. "Hey, Urza," Lucy called, running toward her as the man watched nervously. Urza turned to Lucy with a fierce glare. Lucy's relief quickly shifted to panic as she realized Urza must be there for a specific reason. Oh right. She's mad at us for breaking guild rules and taking an S-class request without permission, Lucy thought. The young man noticed the rising tension and rushed to place himself between the two young women, facing Urza. "Step aside," Urza said firmly. He gestured politely. "No. This young lady just went through something traumatic. Let's not be too harsh on her. Allow me to handle this." His voice was gentle yet firm, matching Urza's intensity. Urza huffed and turned away, crossing her arms in frustration. The young man took a deep breath and turned to the fellow blonde he had saved. Lucy had never noticed it before, but she could feel the overwhelming aura of this man. "Now then, with that unmistakable blonde hair, you must be the Lucy Urza told me about," he said. His friendly voice soothed Lucy, and she felt comforted. Lucy nodded hesitantly. "That's right. I'm Lucy Heartfilia. It's nice to meet you. What would your name be, sir?" "Excuse my manners, I am Naruto Uzumaki." "It's nice to meet you, Lucy Heartfilia." Naruto smiled and extended his hand for a handshake. Lucy paused, disbelief washing over her. "Come again?" she asked. Naruto chuckled lightly. "I said, my name is Naruto Uzumaki." "The Naruto Uzumaki?" Lucy exclaimed, her voice rising slightly. "Yup," Naruto replied, popping the P at the end. "Now, are you going to shake my hand or leave me hanging, Miss Lucy?" Naruto chuckled, snapping Lucy out of her shock. "I'm sorry," Lucy stammered as she took Naruto's hand and shook it, feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness. He is exactly what Master Makarov described: sun-kissed blonde hair, deep blue eyes, and 3 whisker-like marks on each side of his face. Her thoughts were interrupted by Urza's impatient voice. "Back to the point." Lucy jumped slightly, startled by Urza's tone. "Now, I'm sure you have a million questions about all of this. I will give you all the answers when the time is right. But what's more important right now is the reason why Urza and I are here," Naruto said. Lucy sighed. "To take us back, right?" Naruto nodded. Lucy clasped her hands together nervously. "Just promise you won't hurt me?" "Of course," Naruto assured her, giving a reassuring smile before glancing over her shoulder at a suspicious figure hiding on top of the cliff. Lucy noticed his concern. "What's wrong? What were you looking at?" She turned around but saw nothing there. "Nothing to worry about. I think you have bigger problems right now," Naruto reminded her. Happy fluttered over. "Hey Lucy. I've been looking everywhere for you. I'm glad you're okay." "I was." Happy froze when he spotted the unmistakable redhead and quickly flapped his wings in an attempt to escape. But it wasn't fast enough. At that moment, nothing could escape Urza's wrath. Happy soon found himself dangling upside down by his tail, held firmly by Urza. Shaking in fear, Happy hadn't even noticed the other man standing behind Lucy. The last thing he wanted was an angry Urza. Naruto observed Happy, thinking, "I'm assuming this is Happy, the talking blue cat Urza mentioned." It was only then that Happy noticed Naruto standing behind Lucy. "Hey, who is he? He looks like—" "Shut up!" Urza shouted, and Happy immediately complied. "Now, where is Natsu?" Urza asked, her voice and expression emotionless. Naruto watched anxiously. "Listen, I'm sorry for coming without permission, but some really awful things have been happening on this island. There's this guy and his minions trying to revive a frozen demon. The island's villagers are suffering because of the magic spell it's using. They've turned into monsters. We thought that if we work together, we might be able to help them," Lucy explained anxiously. Naruto looked at Lucy with compassion. He wanted to help. He knew the right thing to do, but he didn't want to take sides. Both sides had their reasons. "None of that is my concern," Urza replied coldly. Lucy looked at her in despair. "Please, Urza, let us finish this job. We can't leave things this way." Lucy begged, but Urza pointed her sword toward Lucy's throat. In a split second, Naruto rushed to Lucy's side, bravely stepping in front of her and taking the sword's threat for her. "Naruto! Step aside!" Urza ordered. Happy gaped. "Naruto?" "Shut up, Happy!" Urza snapped. "Now step aside, Naruto." "Listen, Urza, I'm not trying to take sides. I think Lucy and her team's actions are wrong too, but I believe we should hear her out first. Maybe she has a point, let's give her a chance." We don't even have to let them finish it. If you want, the two of us can handle it. But let's not take things too far. I promise you, I'm not trying to take sides. Please, Urza, Naruto pleaded. Urza shot him a hard look before reluctantly lowering her sword. Fine, she said, turning away. Naruto sighed in relief. Lucy and Happy were astonished. It was the first time Lucy had ever seen anyone stand up to Urza. Thank you so much, Naruto, Lucy said gratefully. No problem. By the way, what's the cat's name? Naruto asked. Happy, Lucy replied. Ah. Gray lay in bed, his eyes fluttering open. He sat up, scanning his surroundings. Where am I? He wondered aloud. Exiting the tent, he looked up at the bright blue sky. Oh, thank goodness you're awake, a young woman with short hair exclaimed in relief. What is this place? Gray asked. It's a storage area not far from the village. Everything was destroyed last night, so we came here for shelter, she explained. The whole village? That's terrible, Gray exclaimed, recalling Lion's command. Then destroy the village, Lion had ordered. It's a shame there has to be bloodshed. Gray's disbelief and dismay washed over him. I can't believe it, he actually did it, he thought, wincing in pain as he gripped his wounds. You know, it was a miracle that Natsu and Lucy were here. Thanks to their bravery, everyone was able to escape safely, she continued. Are they still around? Gray asked. Yes, they wanted me to show you their tent once you woke up, the young woman replied. Which tent? Gray inquired. They're waiting in that big one right over there, she said, pointing to a large tent. Gray stepped inside to find a furious Urza sitting like a queen on a throne, with Naruto beside her and Lucy and Happy bound and kneeling, tears streaming down their faces in fear. You made me wait. Not smart, Urza muttered sharply. Naruto noticed Gray's severe injuries. He's hurt pretty badly, I should probably help him. Urza! Gray shouted. Why are they tied up? And who is the blonde guy? Naruto stepped up in front of Urza and approached Gray, who looked at him with recognition. Oh, I'm Naruto Uzumaki, nice to meet you, he said cheerfully. Gray's eyes widened as he glanced at Lucy and Happy. Did he just say Naruto Uzumaki? He asked. Lucy and Happy nodded, still sobbing. I'm Gray. Nice to meet you too. Gray replied, still in disbelief. Naruto examined Gray's injuries. Your wounds look pretty bad. Yeah? So? Gray replied. Mind if I help heal them? Naruto asked. Gray stood there, still processing the shock. I can't believe this. You're Naruto Uzumaki? Naruto Uzumaki? But? Gray stammered. Naruto chuckled. Long story, but now is not the time. It's okay, you can trust me. Gray glanced at Happy, Lucy, and Urza. Just go with it. I'm not in the mood to deal with your doubts. He's healing you, and then we're getting down to business, Urza stated firmly. Gray gulped nervously. Okay. He looked at the legendary figure before him. Naruto held up his right hand, revealing a sun. Tattoo on his palm, and gently placed it over Gray's wounds. Gray stood still, anxious, until he felt his wounds beginning to heal. Even Urza watched intently, while Lucy and Happy were stunned. Once Naruto removed his hand, Gray felt as if his body had been renewed. Well, how do you feel? Naruto asked. Gray moved his limbs, astonished to feel no pain. I feel great. All right, Urza exclaimed, catching the attention of both boys as Gray settled into a more serious demeanor. Now that you're healed, let's get down to business, Urza said in a commanding tone as she stood and approached the two boys. Naruto took a step back, feeling a chill run down his spine. So Lucy has filled us in on everything that's happened. I thought you were sent here to stop Natsu and these fools. If you had stayed, you would have met Naruto in a more light-hearted way. Well, needless to say, I'm disappointed, Urza said, her voice still emotionless. Gray sighed. Where is Natsu anyway? That's something we'd all like to know, Urza replied. The last time I saw him, he was fighting the Cold Emperor's lackeys. But when we returned to the village, there was no sign of him. Wherever he is, I hope he's okay. Since we couldn't find him, Urza insisted we come to you, but I had no idea where you ended up, Lucy explained. I did some scouting from the air, and I could see the villagers had moved to the storage area, Happy added. Urza walked past Naruto and Gray. Okay, we're going to search for Natsu, and then we're going back to the guild, she said firmly. Naruto felt conflicted about Urza's plan but knew he was in no position to argue, so he went along with her decision. However, Gray was not ready to back down. But we can't leave the island just yet. If Lucy filled you in, then you know exactly what the villagers are going through right now, he protested. Urza glared at Gray. And what would be your point? Gray was taken aback, unable to believe Urza's words. Naruto remained quiet, listening intently but not intervening just yet. Natsu yawned tiredly. Man, I finally come up with the perfect plan, and then I go and oversleep. He paused at the doorway of the temple, looking up with a grin. He clenched his fist and raised it into the air with pride. All right, let's do this. I came here solely to apprehend these individuals for breaking the rules of the guild. I'm not interested in anything else, Urza asserted. Rules? Have you even seen what's happened to the people on this island? Gray asked, raising his voice. I have. Then why are you still turning your back on them? Gray asked in disbelief. Their request is posted in every guild hall. The villagers are better off with wizards who are cleared for S-class. You're not qualified, Urza replied coldly. How can you be so heartless? Gray exclaimed. What did you say? Urza demanded, glaring at him. That's no way to speak to the great Urza. Happy panicked. Naruto stood by, listening intently. You really know how to flatter, Lucy remarked. Have you chosen to defy the guild's rules as well? Urza asked, summoning her sword. Prompting Naruto to rush over, he stepped between Urza and Gray, shielding Gray from the sword now aimed at him. Naruto! Gray murmured. Naruto! Step aside. He will face the same consequences. Urza commanded. Listen, Urza, I've been following this discussion. I see both sides. But when it comes to the safety of a village and its people, rules don't matter. How about we help them finish this job? We can return to the guild and let Master Makarov decide their fate. Since they've already taken the job, it would be shameful to abandon it, Naruto suggested. Naruto. But Gray hesitated, wondering why Naruto would stand up for him. Come on, Urza. Please. Urza studied Naruto for a moment before sighing and lowering her sword. Gray stepped out from behind Naruto and placed a hand on his shoulder. Thanks, Naruto, Gray said gratefully before walking away, glancing back. You truly are a legend. I'm seeing this through to the end. And you can't stop me, Gray declared confidently. Naruto smiled as Gray walked off. Urza turned her glare towards Lucy and Happy. Please don't be mad at us. We don't control Gray or Naruto. Lucy exclaimed. He's just not himself after losing to his old friend. Happy added. Naruto raised an eyebrow in surprise. Old friend, huh? Urza took her sword and cut the ropes binding Happy and Lucy, freeing them. These events are unacceptable. We will deal with the immediate problems first, Urza stated. Thank you, the two exclaimed happily. Naruto smiled contentedly. Urza shot them a stern look. This doesn't change anything. You will still face consequences. And if you want someone to thank Naruto. He saved you, Urza snapped. Yes, ma'am, they replied with a sigh, and Naruto sighed along with them. How unfortunate, you're the only one still standing, Toby. Those fairy tale wizards are quite impressive, Lion remarked. This reminded Toby of the embarrassing moment when he shocked himself. Hey, can we keep the whole shocking myself thing a secret? This unfortunate turn of events could jeopardize Deliora's resurrection, a short man wearing a mask said as he entered. Naruto recognized him from before. Zalti, you're as stealthy as ever, Lion praised. If all goes according to plan, the demon should awaken tonight, but we must keep an eye on those wizards. If they interrupt the moon drip ceremony, Deliora will remain trapped in ice. Salamander and Titania are powerful, and it seems they have a new ally. He even noticed me spying on them earlier. He bears a striking resemblance to the legendary Naruto Uzumaki. but I can't be sure if it's really him. He has been gone for quite some time. They could easily disrupt our plans, Zalti informed. Naruto Uzumaki. I would have loved to battle him. He is very powerful. But as always, you seem remarkably well informed. Regardless, I'm not worried. Those fools may be strong, but they're no match for me. And if it turns out to be Naruto Uzumaki, I'll make sure to eliminate him, Lion assured. I was hoping you would say that. It's reassuring to hear. But still, allow me the honor of joining the battle for old time's sake, Zalti insisted. Wait, hold on. I didn't know you were a wizard too. Toby exclaimed in shock. Yes. It's been a while since I've used it, but I've dabbled in a particular form of lost magic, Zalti explained. Sure, we could use another wizard, Lion said just before the entire temple began to shake violently. It's an earthquake, Toby shouted as the tremors continued. I don't think so, Lion disagreed. It's all coming down. It turned out to be Natsu, their favorite pink-haired fire dragon slayer, tearing down the moon temple. He continued until the entire structure was tilted. Natsu then blasted a hole through the ceiling with a fiery breath. What is the meaning of this? Lion demanded. We're in trouble. Toby replied shakily. Zalti smirked, looking down below. I should have known Salamander would be the first to make a move. It seems we have a visitor, sir. You know, I usually end up breaking things by accident. It's funny how hard it is when I do it on purpose. Natsu laughed. Lion glared angrily. What are you doing here? I'm knocking this place over. Then you won't be able to shine light on the demon below. Natsu explained. Insolent fool. Who do you think you are? You dare challenge me? Lion growled. Okay, can someone start explaining? I'm lost, Toby said, confused. Evidently, this boy is the reason the temple is now tilted. I assume he destroyed the support pillars on one side. This causes the temple to shift in that direction, preventing any moonlight from directly shining on Deliora. It's an ingenious plan. I'm actually surprised he managed to come up with it, Zalti explained in amazement. So are you going to fight me or what? Natsu demanded, flames shooting from his feet as he elevated. He can shoot flames from his feet? Lion blurted. Yeah. Fire comes out from everywhere on his body. Toby added. Natsu charged head-on and delivered a powerful headbutt to Lion's stomach, shocking both Toby and Zalti. Though seemingly defeated, Lion cracked and shattered into pieces, causing confusion for the Dragon Slayer. What? He's fake? Ice make Eagle. You can't dodge them in the air. Lion shouted proudly, summoning ice eagles to charge at Natsu. However, Natsu easily countered by shooting fire from his mouth, effectively burning the eagles. What kind of ridiculous magic is this? Lion shouted in disbelief. Fire dragon roar. Natsu yelled, flames erupting from his mouth. Suddenly, the floor cracked, breaking and sending Natsu tumbling down. Very fortunate, Cold Emperor. Luck is on your side, Zalti smirked. Could we keep the whole Toby got charred a secret too? Toby, now in ashes, asked. What did you do? Lion demanded. Whatever do you mean? Zalti replied innocently. Don't play dumb with me. Your magic had to have caused that hole in the floor, Lion snapped. Don't you have a watchful eye? Please allow me to explain my actions, sir. You're the only one strong enough to defeat Deliora, so it's imperative that you remain safe until its resurrection, Zalti chuckled. Lion glared, an icy aura forming around him. Are you suggesting that I could fall victim to such trivial flames? His icy aura spread across the floor and walls. Leave me, I can handle this myself. Once I finally defeat the demon, everyone will worship my name. Cold Emperor Lion, even more praised and renowned as the great and legendary Naruto Uzumaki. I won't let a brat like him tarnish that. Lion declared coldly. As you wish, Zalti replied with a smirk. Natsu scoffed. Please, Naruto Uzumaki defeated a goddess. You will only defeat a mere demon. So, this is your motive. Defeating Deliora. Are you kidding me? Defeating Deliora is his goal? Lucy exclaimed in shock. Naruto furrowed his brows as they continued running. The thing looks half dead already. So let me get this straight. You're going through all this trouble to melt that ice just so you can fight it? Listen, I really want to fight Naruto Uzumaki, but I wouldn't go through that much just to face him. That's pretty messed up if you ask me, Natsu insulted. I must rise above UR's legacy. I will not rest until I fulfill my dream. Lion vowed, sending more ice toward Natsu, who dodged effortlessly. Why go through all this trouble? Can't you just challenge her and be done with it? Natsu wondered. Well, I would if I could, but your has been gone for years. Lion replied. Natsu's eyes widened as he recalled what Gray had told him earlier. The woman who taught me how to use my magic, my master. You are sacrificed everything to seal it away. I didn't realize she died when she sealed it, Natsu said, realization dawning on him. Yes, but she'd still be alive if it weren't for Gray. Lion shouted angrily, sending a shard of ice toward the block behind Natsu, which ricocheted and struck him. Yet, Natsu emerged unscathed. Look, I don't know what happened to you in the past, but I do know what you're doing in the present is hurting a lot of innocent people. And since you don't seem to realize that, I'll have to knock some sense into you. Natsu declared firmly. Even back when we were kids, Lion always dreamed of surpassing UR's magical abilities. Since she's gone, he can't challenge her directly. He believes it's up to him to defeat Deliora because it's the one thing she couldn't do, Gray explained. Listening to this brought a wave of nostalgia to Naruto. Thoughts of his own mentors Kakashi-sensei, Pervy Sage, Irika-sensei, Asuma-sensei flooded his mind. Naruto had already surpassed both Kakashi and Pervy Sage when he mastered the Rasengan and the Rasen Shuriken. Well, yeah, I guess that's the only way to challenge someone who's already gone, Lucy pointed out. Happy added. Listen, there's something. Something I never got to tell him. I kept it secret. Yor made me promise to never let him know. But I have to. Yor may not be with us, but she's still alive, Gray revealed. Everyone gasped. Naruto looked on at Gray, waiting for him to elaborate with anticipation. What do you mean? Urza asked. It's been 10 years. Gray began. Flashback. A raging demon roared ferociously, the town surrounding it engulfed in flames and ruins. Deliora attacked my hometown. I've never seen such destruction. The whole place was wiped out in less than a day. A young woman walked through the wrecked town alongside a much younger boy with silver hair. I've heard of Deliora's destructive power, but I never expected this, Yor thought in horror. From afar, a young Gray lay flat on his stomach, pinned beneath a huge boulder. His arm twitched, his body barely moving. He groaned. Yor noticed and immediately called for the silver-haired boy. Lion, get over here, we've got a survivor. Lion jumped in alarm, turning over and rushing to Gray's side. Hey, are you all right? Finally, Gray began to open his eyes. He looked up to see Lion and Yor standing in front of him. Yor and Lion found me. They pulled me from the rubble. Gray knelt in front of what appeared to be a makeshift gravestone and placed a few flowers beneath it. He bowed his head. Deliora, you're going to pay for this. I'll stop you, I swear it. Gray said determinedly as Yor looked on, intrigued by this boy. The vow was how it all began. Amidst the cold, snowy mountain, Gray stood, panting for breath while Yor's back was turned to him. Are you going to be able to keep up, Gray? Yor asked, turning around to look at him. I warned you, training with me can be tough. Yeah, but I'll do whatever it takes. I have to become stronger than Deliora. Someday I'm going to beat him. Gray vowed. Lion looked from afar and scoffed. Yeah, right. Okay, let's get started, Yor said, shaking it off nonchalantly. Gray frowned. Fine, ready when you are. He jumped in surprise when he saw his teacher begin to remove her outer layers in the middle of the snow. Whoa! What are you doing? Gray cried in confusion. The first step is to acclimate, Yor replied calmly. Are you kidding me? You're crazy if you think I'm doing that in the snow. Back me up, Lion. Gray said hopefully, only to find Lion had already followed suit. Lion gave Gray a playful wink. Now you're without your outer layers too? Gray shouted in disbelief. Just hurry up and do it, kid. Come on. You want to learn magic, right? Lion teased. I can't believe you're making me do this. It better not be some kind of joke. Gray whined. You are winked. Good job, Gray. If you want to be able to control the cold, then you'll have to become one with it. You'll get used to it soon. Gray and Lion stood, shivering violently. I already have. Lion stated confidently. You're shivering just as much as I am. Gray pointed out. Let's go, boys. You are commanded. I thought you were going to teach me magic. Gray protested. Just run. Lion shouted as the three began running. I don't want to do this beginner stuff either. Lion complained. And so, Gray trained in the cold, even enduring cold baths. I practice maker magic. Out of all the magical arts, I feel this one gives you the most creative freedom. You are explained as she performed the steps while Gray imitated her, with Lion watching from afar. Lion created his own ice gorilla, which earned him a light tap on the head from Yor. In fact, every wizard who practices maker magic has their own unique style. If you train hard, then someday you'll create a style all your own, Yor said. Who's the dark-haired boy? A lady asked. Did you pick up another student? Yeah, his name's Gray. He's a rebel and doesn't want to do what he's told, Yor answered as she sat at the bar, munching on an apple. The other boy is named Lion, right? I bet when those two grow up, they're going to be quite the lookers, the lady teased. You think so? Yor replied curiously. Yeah. In fact, would you mind saving one of them for me? The lady asked. Yor scoffed. If you want those little headaches, you're welcome to them. You know, you're not going to have much luck with the men in town if they think you've got kids, the lady inquired. I don't need romantic advice. You are dismissed. You're not getting any younger, you are, and you deserve to be happy. Promise you'll give it a little thought? The lady begged. Yor looked back with her food. Yeah, sure. Tell me something, how long do you think it's going to take us to become stronger than you are? Lion asked cheerfully. How the heck should I know? Gray replied grumpily. She's the best wizard around, but my dream is to someday be better than she is, Lion said dreamily. Can't stop running your mouth, can you? Do you really think I care about that? Gray replied again in a grumpy tone. Why are you always so grumpy? Lion asked. Because you're all about master this, master that. It's bugging me, Gray replied. She told me she decided to teach you because she sees some kind of darkness inside of you, Lion said. Well, she's probably right, especially after everything I've been through, Gray admitted. Well, she wants to help you get rid of it, Lion smiled. I'll do that on my own. Just watch. Right now, all I care about is getting revenge on Deliora. And once I've learned enough magic, I'm out of here. Bye-bye, Ice Witch, Gray vowed. In return, Gray received a light punch to the head. Keep talking that way about me and you're in trouble, kid. You are warned. I'm sorry. Gray apologized. The three walked in silence until Gray suddenly asked, So when are you going to start teaching us some powerful magic? I already have, Yor replied. I'm not talking about that maker magic stuff. As far as I can tell, that junk's completely useless, Gray said grimly. Yor stopped in her tracks and turned back to look at Gray with a disappointed expression. Gray huffed and turned away, but Yor was not finished. Look me in the eyes, Gray. Yor demanded. Finally, Gray faced Yor. I told you, maker magic gives you creative freedom. Once you're able to create your own style, you can make it as powerful as you want, Yor explained. You keep saying the same thing over and over again, Gray sighed, not realizing he had taken off his outer layers. Gray, we're in public. Put your clothes back on. Yor panicked. Gray's eyes widened. Now I have this weird habit because of you. Don't you blame it on me. Yor playfully pushed Gray into the air, while Lion and the townspeople laughed. Let's get out of here. Yor's face was flushed as she carried Gray. Okay, Gray muttered. Well, that was embarrassing, Yor huffed. And hilarious. Lion laughed. Shut up, brown-noser. Gray shot back. You shut up, streaker. Lion retorted. Have you heard any news about Deliora's whereabouts? A man on a passing cart asked the trio. Yeah. I heard it made its way to the northern continent. It's somewhere around Brago, another man replied. This conversation caught Gray's attention. I hope they don't end up suffering the same fate as Isfin, the first man added. Gray dropped his bag, causing Uar and Lion to look back in surprise. What's wrong? Uar asked. That's where it is. In Brago, Gray muttered. Amidst the stormy night, Gray walked away from Uar's cottage as Uar and Lion looked on in dismay. No way. Deliora is out of your league, Gray. It'll kill you. Don't go. Uar shouted in protest. Gray stopped. Beg all you want. You're not going to change my mind. Don't you understand? That demon took my mom and dad away from me. I have to get revenge. Leave, and you're no longer my student. You are warned. Fine. Better off without you. Gray shot back. Don't go, Lion murmured. And if that thing kills me, it'll be all your fault. You should have taught me real magic. Gray shouted. Great, your side. Lucy deadpanned as she tilted her head in the direction the temple was leaning. Guys? Is it just me, or does the temple look a little crooked right now? Lucy said. Naruto murmured, smiling softly to himself. So, he's just like me. He doesn't have a mom or a dad. Or, at least he had a mom and dad, but lost them to a demon of destruction. What happened to it? Happy wondered. I'm guessing Natsu, Gray immediately said. Me too, Urza agreed. Naruto raised his brows. Natsu? Wow, this guy seems pretty powerful and destructive. I don't know how he managed to pull it off, but he's the only one who would do something that crazy. It's a pretty great idea if he did it on purpose. Since the temple is tilted like that, the moonlight won't hit Deliora, Gray pointed out. You mean his habit of destroying stuff actually came in useful for once? Lucy sounded surprised. Naruto couldn't help but laugh at that. My head stuck. Looking sideways at the crooked temple hurt my neck. Happy chirped as he attempted to adjust his head but only ended up cracking it the other way. Suddenly, Urza's attention was drawn to a certain direction in the forest with a sharp gaze. Without warning, Naruto hastily scooped Lucy and Happy into his arms, catching them off guard as they yelped in surprise and swiftly evaded the incoming spikes aimed at the group along with Urza and Gray. Naruto landed hard on his feet, still holding onto Lucy and Happy before finally releasing them. Sorry I took you by surprise. Are you two okay? Naruto asked with concern. Yeah, thanks to you again. Lucy replied. Who's there? Urza demanded. We've tracked you down, Fairy Tail. A female voice from inside a monk shouted. We will not allow you to interfere, a male voice added. Not these guys. Gray said in dismay. I'm guessing they're Lion's minions, Naruto blurted. They're all around us. Lucy panicked. Happy croaked. I can handle this myself. Urza assured, summoning a sword into her hand. Are you sure? Gray asked. I'll take care of them. You go and settle things with Lion. Naruto, follow him. You've been cooped up in that forest for way too long. You need to start leaping into action. Urza commanded. Naruto and Gray paused and hesitated before looking at each other and nodding towards Urza. We'll stay here and fight with her. You just go and do what you gotta do, Lucy added. Happy chirped. Thanks, you guys. Gray smirked and looked over to the legendary Naruto Uzumaki standing beside him. I never thought this would be happening, but I really look forward to working with you. Naruto Uzumaki. Right back at ya. I gotta tell Lion that Uar is still alive. The only person that can stop him is me. Gray vowed. Do what you gotta do, buddy. I've got your back. Naruto assured. Gray looked over to Naruto, still in disbelief. He was running alongside Naruto Uzumaki, the legendary Naruto Uzumaki. Gray wanted to see just how powerful Naruto was, and he had a feeling he wouldn't be disappointed judging from the aura emanating from him. Uar couldn't defeat Deliora, Lion probably can't, and I know I probably couldn't either. But it may be a different case for Naruto. I know it. He has the power to defeat Deliora. Deliora roared furiously, looking down at Uar, whose clothes were tattered and body covered in grime. Ice Make, Rose Garden. You are shouted. A bed of icy roses burst from the ground, entangling Deliora before he broke free and unleashed a gust of flames across the town. You are panted, exhausted. I can't keep this up, I'm using too much magic power. She glanced back at her two unconscious students. Gray groaned before shooting up in a panic, trembling violently as the demon Deliora wreaked havoc on the town once more. Yor calmly walked over and took Gray into her arms comfortingly. It's okay. Everything's going to be fine, you are, reassured him. Gray pulled away, looking up at her with fearful eyes. You're here. But why? I want you to grab Lion and get out of here. I can't concentrate on fighting if I have to protect you, you are insisted, standing tall. Gray peeked over to see Lion's sleeping form. Oh no! He's fine. Just out cold, you are assured. Gray ran over as you are turned back to face the demon, glaring it down with determination. Deliora! It's too strong. I didn't stand a chance, Gray shouted in shame. Get going, you are urged, walking off to battle the demon once again. Wait, why'd you come after me? I thought I wasn't your student anymore. Gray shouted. You're paused. A friend said something to me recently that made me think. She told me I deserved to be happy. Which shocked me because I never thought of myself as unhappy. I have two adorable little students that I spend each day with, watching them grow into men. What more could I want? I don't think there's anything in the world that could make me happier, Yor said. Gray stood speechless until he noticed Yuar's injured leg. Your leg? Oh, you noticed. I lost the real one, but this will do for now. My maker magic came in handy. I vowed I would free the darkness within you, and if that means I have to fight this demon, then so be it. Now get out of here and let me do this, Yor smiled. At this point, Gray was in tears. He couldn't bear the thought of leaving his precious master. No, I'm not leaving you. It's my fault that all of this happened. Gray protested. No one's at fault. This is just something we have to go through in order to be happy again, Yor said, beginning to walk away. Wait, Yor. Lion whispered, stopping her in her tracks and freeing himself from Gray's grip. I thought you were unconscious. I want you and Gray to you're going to defeat it, right? You're talking like you're not going to make it. Let her go. Shut up. Lion snapped. You can beat that thing no problem. You're the strongest wizard alive. That demon's no match for you. Lion said confidently. You are turned around. Lion, how many times have I told you? There's always someone better. But that can't be true, Lion insisted. In the Western countries, there are many wizards who are more powerful than me, Yuar explained. No, it's not true. It's not. Because you're the strongest. If you aren't, then why have I been training with you all this time? Lion questioned. One day you'll surpass me, and when that day comes, I hope you'll move on to a loftier goal. Yuar said hopefully. I studied with you because I thought you were the strongest. If you let that monster defeat you, then you'll prove me wrong. Don't betray me. Lion pleaded. Lion! Yuar shouted as he ran past her, charging toward the demon. If you're not going to give it your all, then I'll have to do it myself. Lion declared. Yuar gasped. Lion spread his legs apart, holding his arms out and crossing them to form an X. Lion, that stance. Where did you learn that? Yuar demanded. Where, you ask? Since you didn't want to teach us powerful magic yourself, I went to the storehouse and read all your magic books. You hid spells like the iced shell because you were scared. Lion shouted. Did you even bother to read that book all the way through? Do you know what happens to the spellcaster? Yuar asked. Will he be okay? Gray asked nervously. I asked you a question. Answer me, Lion. Yuar demanded. But Lion wouldn't hear it. He ignored her and continued with the spell. Please, you can't do this. Gray pleaded. No. It noticed us. Yuar panicked. I know magic's too weak to kill Deliora. But if I cast the iced shell spell, I can seal it in ice for eternity. Lion smirked. However, before Lion could continue, Yuar encased him in her own ice. Sorry, Lion, but I can't let you do that. Yuar frowned. But why is it bad? Gray asked. When that spell is cast, the user's body becomes the iced shell itself, Yura explained. Gray's face fell in horror. He's right though, that's the only way Deliora can be stopped. I never imagined Lion would come up with the same idea I had, said, impressed. Hey wait, where are you going? Gray shouted. The same aura around Lion formed around Yura, hinting that she was about to cast the iced shell. I must have taught him well, Yura said proudly. You are. Gray shouted. Stay back, you are warned. Yura then got into the same stance Lion had been in before. Magic circles formed around Deliora. I won't ever let you hurt my students again. This is the end of the line for you, monster. Absolute freeze. Iced shell. Yura exclaimed, spreading her arms as ice charged at Deliora. No! Gray shouted in terror. Yura's body began to turn into ice, starting with her right eye. Please don't do it. Gray pleaded. It's a sacrifice I have to make to save the two of you. My body will become the ice that seals the demon Deliora for eternity. Promise me this one thing. Please. Tell Lion I died. If he finds out I turned to ice, he'd probably waste his entire life trying to undo the spell. And that would make my sacrifice meaningless. I want to see Lion live a full life. And Gray. I want the same for you, Yura said. I'm begging you. Please don't do this. I promise I'll do whatever you tell me from now on. Gray begged tearfully. There's no reason to be sad. I will live on. Please don't cry. I may not be with you, but I will protect you from Deliora. Be strong. Make me proud. Yura stated proudly. Gray shouted. I freed you from the darkness, Gray. I've sealed it away forever. Yura said with pride. Suddenly, I felt all the sadness and anger within me just disappear. At that moment, I swore that I would always be strong for her. I'd become the best wizard I could to make her proud of me. But Lion was different. Lion groaned, opening his eyes to the bright sun as he sat up. What did she do to me? Lion wondered. He saw the demon Deliora now encased in ice. That's Deliora. How did it happen? Did Yura cast the spell? Where is she now? Tell me. Lion demanded. Gray sat on the ground, head buried in his knees, stifling his sobs. She's gone, Gray uttered. Lion's eyes widened in disbelief. No, he whispered. No! He shouted, running over to Gray, shoving him to the ground and grabbing his collar. Jagged, how will I surpass her now? She's gone, and so is my dream because of you. Lion blamed. I'm sorry. Gray stuttered. That's not good enough. It won't bring her back. You killed my dream. If you hadn't challenged Deliora, this wouldn't have happened. Lion shouted, finally letting go of Gray. He stood up, glaring at Gray coldly. It's your fault she's gone. You're the one. You killed Master Yura. This could go on forever. So do yourself a favor. And give up. Natsu shot. I would never give you that satisfaction, Lion refused. Then you're asking for it? Natsu smirked, lighting his fist on fire. Oh, am I now? Lion taunted. The ice wall beside them suddenly began to crack until it finally broke, shattering into a million pieces. There stood Gray, with Naruto close behind him, his body relaxed and hands tucked in his pockets as he observed nonchalantly. Oh, it's Gray. Who's the blondie standing behind you? Natsu asked. Gray looked over at Naruto and chuckled, seeing the blonde slouched over without a care. He decided to take the honors of introducing this legendary person. This here is Naruto Uzumaki. That's Natsu over there. Nice to meet you, Natsu. Ursus talked about you a lot. Naruto smirked, waving to the pink-haired fire wizard. Natsu's eyes widened, and his jaw dropped. Say what? There's no way. Naruto Uzumaki is gone. There's no way. You're lying. Gray, you're lying. I'm not that stupid. Lion eyed Naruto with suspicion and mistrust. For once, I actually agree with this idiotic fireball. You died. You sacrificed your life to seal away Kagaya Otsutsuki, the great mother of all chakra. How are you alive? I don't believe it. You're a fake. Lion exclaimed. Oh, it's a long story. And I don't think I really have the time to explain, Naruto replied casually. Look, just let me handle this. It's time we settle things once and for all. Gray asserted. No way, man. You already lost to him once. Natsu protested, stepping in front of Gray. It's not going to happen again. Plus, I feel great thanks to Naruto. He helped me recover. So I'm ready to end this now. Gray declared confidently. Natsu raised an eyebrow. Helped you recover? I used my power to heal him, Naruto explained. Natsu was taken aback. He didn't want to believe it, but he was starting to accept that the blonde, spiky-haired man standing behind Gray was indeed Naruto Uzumaki. You seem awfully confident, Lion remarked, unfazed. You were right, Lion. I'm the one to blame for our master's death. But you're no better. You threatened my friends, harmed the villagers, and now you're trying to destroy what you sacrificed her life to create. It's time we face our consequences. Together, Gray said. Lion's eyes widened as Gray took a stance for the iced shell spell. The stance? Not the iced shell. Lion panicked. Iced shell? Natsu echoed. My master cast a spell called iced shell on this demon. She gave everything to seal it away forever. I would fight her if I could, but yours been gone for many years. Natsu recalled. Are you insane? You wouldn't dare. Lion shouted. If you want to live, change the villagers back to their human forms and leave this island forever. If you agree to that, I'll stop. Otherwise, this is the end. Gray warned as a magic circle formed beneath him. Is that so? Well, I don't believe a word of it. You're bluffing, Lion scoffed. Gray narrowed his eyes. The same aura that surrounded you now enveloped him. No, I'm not, Gray replied, his voice steady. You'll die. Lion shouted, trying to disrupt the spell with his magic, but was instead pushed back by the aura. Don't do it. Natsu pleaded. All these years I've lied to myself. I didn't want to admit that you died because of me. But she did. And it's time I took responsibility. I'm not afraid to face the consequences. If that's what it takes. Gray vowed. Stop this now. Lion demanded. What's it going to be, Lion? Are we going to die, or are we going to live? It's up to you. Gray shouted as his right eye glimmered with intensity. You wouldn't. You aren't brave enough to give your life. You're nothing but a coward. Lion shot back. Just watch. Gray insisted. Don't do it. Natsu begged, panic and despair etched on his face. Natsu, Urza. All my friends in Fairy Tail. The rest is up to you. I don't want to leave you and Naruto. I really wanted to get to know you better. But my time is up. Naruto closed his eyes and took a deep breath before stepping forward, placing himself between Lion and Gray, surprising both of them and Natsu as they watched in anticipation. Naruto then bent down, stretching out his arms to grasp Gray and Lion's legs. With a firm grip, he effortlessly lifted them both and flung them across the room as if they were mere rag dolls. Gray and Lion crashed against the walls, hitting the icy floor with a thud. They groaned in discomfort from Naruto's overwhelming strength. Naruto stood between the two, arms crossed, gazing at them with a serious expression. Alright, you guys. Playtime is over. Gray and Lion groaned as they slowly sat up against the ice wall. Man, Naruto. Your throws are incredible. You could have really hurt me. Gray complained. Naruto tilted his head innocently. Oh, my bad. I was barely using half of my strength though. Natsu, Lion, and Gray widened their eyes. Not even half strength? What would have happened if he had gone all out? I can't even imagine. But with this strength, and with Naruto's help, even if Deliora were to be free, Naruto would undoubtedly be able to stop it, Gray concluded. Naruto turned to Gray and Lion. Listen to me. Whatever happened to your master was no one's fault. She sacrificed her life to seal away this demon so that you two could live full and happy lives as powerful wizards. Gray, if you throw your life away like that, then your master's sacrifice would have been for nothing. And Lion, there are other ways for you to surpass you. If you want to surpass her, you should be training even harder, learning magic that even she couldn't do, not destroying what she gave her life to create. Naruto chided. Gray sighed in defeat. I guess you're right, Naruto. But Lion scoffed quietly. Nonsense. Yeah, plus you can't just jump in and steal the spotlight with a bunch of fancy talk. Get back to the end of the line, pal. Natsu blurted, his expression sour. Back of what line? Gray flared angrily. I was here first, so it's my fight. Natsu said proudly, crossing his arms. What? When I got here, the first words out of my mouth were, leave him to me. Why you? Gray shot back, his voice now significantly more aggravated. What, you want some? Natsu smirked. Gray was absolutely not in the mood to joke around with Natsu. He grabbed Natsu's scarf, glaring hard at him. I don't care who said what. I have a score to settle with him, do you understand? I'm ready to do whatever it takes. Gray snapped. Natsu took hold of Gray's wrist, gripping it firmly, eyes locked on Gray's in mutual seriousness. Huh, sounds like you haven't been listening to what Naruto was saying earlier. How's throwing your life away going to settle anything? It sounds like you're trying to run away. Naruto stopped you for a reason, Gray. Natsu snapped back. Suddenly, the temple began shaking again.